Hello and welcome. I'm Asuma Katauka and you're watching the World Report on NewsX World. Let's take a look at some of the headlines of this hour. India's AI Impact Summit 2026 continues at Bharat Mandapam, with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasizing safe, fair AI. Global leaders and tech CEOs are gathering to discuss AI's role in economic growth, public services, and international collaboration. According to reports, the U.S. military is preparing for a possible strike on Iran as soon as this weekend, but President Trump has yet to make a final decision. The White House has been briefed on the military buildup, and Trump continues to weigh his options with advisors. U.S. President Donald Trump will host a peace board meeting today at the Trump Institute of Peace, where 20 nations will announce $5 billion in funding for Gaza and the deployment of thousands of security personnel. According to a senior State Department official speaking at the Hudson Institute, the U.S. alleged that China conducted a secret nuclear weapons test in 2020, described as a singular explosion, while U.S. and China have not issued any statements regarding this. According to Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi speaking at a press conference after her re-election, she seeks to implement a 2-year suspension of Japan's 8% consumption tax on food and beverages as soon as possible, following her party's decisive general election victory. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow has always been on Cuba's side in its struggle for independence in his meeting with Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez in the Kremlin. According to Brazil's Foreign Trade Committee, Brazil has imposed anti-dumping duties on a wide range of Chinese steel products and hypodermic needles after 2 investigations found the imports were being sold at low prices. This is approved and signed by the Vice President Geraldo Alckmin and will stay in place for 5 years. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has given his testimony in a landmark tech addiction case against Meta and YouTube. Zuckerberg said that he regretted Meta's slow progress in identifying underage users on Instagram as he faced accusations that his company deliberately hooked children to the platform. Now for this hour, let's start with the AI Summit. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for artificial intelligence to be democratized and made accessible to all. Speaking at the AI Impact Summit, Modi said AI must not reduce humans to mere data points or raw material for technology. He has stressed that AI should become a tool for inclusion and empowerment, especially for the Global South. Modi highlighted recent AI model launches by Indian companies, saying technology that succeeds in India can scale globally. India now ranks 3rd in global AI competitiveness, according to Stanford University researchers, though experts say it still lags behind the United States and China. Modi said AI will only be truly beneficial when its core systems are open and shared for the global common good. Now for this, we welcome my colleague and correspondent Thomas Porteous. He's joining us live from Bharat Mandapam. Thank you very much, Thomas, for joining us again. What more can you tell us about AI Summit from Bharat Mandapam?
Thank you very much, Asuma. Well, Day 4 certainly has a different tone, where it's more close to the general public today. Serious diplomatic developments are going on. It's less of a tech summit and more of a G20 style meeting, as it appears. But of course, the big tech leaders are there. We've just heard the likes of Sam Altman speak alongside these leaders, showing the gravitas of the situation when it comes to AI. These big tech leaders really being seen as leaders and of this revolution. Some significant statements and evidence from his speech. He claimed that by 2028, AI could surpass human intellectual capacity. And he also hailed India vastly during his speech, of course, quoting and citing a time where he had come a year ago and said that the country has made an amazing progress on the AI front, even over the past 12 months. So that was a significant statement from Altman there. As you've said, Asuma, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has addressed these global leaders and framed this as a human-centric summit, saying that AI needs to be harnessed by all and focused in good ways. Leaders and senior delegates from multiple countries have attended high plenary meetings. We've had huge leaders from the tech world, including the likes of the Google CEO, Sundar Pichai, Sam Altman, as we've mentioned, Dario Amodei. A side note there, Sam Altman and him refused to hold hands during a big photo opportunity at the end where the Prime Minister of India raised his hands up, linking arms with everyone else. The two did not link hands, visibly looking slightly uncomfortable since their Super Bowl advert controversy just a few months ago. But of course, this is a hugely important moment, Asuma. High-profile conversations focusing on safety, frontier AI models, reasonable development, competitiveness versus cooperation, mainly citing those countries like China, like the United States, which are the leaders. India is looking to come in and bring more inclusivity to the artificial intelligence space. As I've said, this building that you can see behind me, the Bharat Mandapam, yesterday was open to the public. There was multiple sessions. Now it is invite only. The general public cannot get in there and view some of these significant speeches. It is very, very much a closed meeting where important deals are going on, bilateral meetings and multilateral meetings among countries, staying on this subject of AI. Core themes today, India, of course, pitching itself as a scalable AI testbed, a low-cost innovation hub, and a global AI South leader. We are, of course, expecting this kind of...
Yes. We are now, like Mr. Alexander Wang, the Meta AI chief, is speaking live at the AI Impact Summit. Let's cut across.
Thank you so much for having me. Namaste. It's fair to say my upbringing wasn't typical. My parents were physicists in a town called Los Alamos in New Mexico. Los Alamos is a government lab town where, for decades, scientists have come to push the boundaries of what's possible in mathematics and supercomputing, in human genome studies, vaccine research, space explorations, and material science. My mother studies how plasma behaves inside stars. At the dinner table, we'd talk about physics problems, scientific trade-offs, the reasoning behind how systems work. One kid in my town made huge balls of plasma in their garage for a science fair project. You know, normal high school stuff. Growing up in a place like Los Alamos leaves two things deeply ingrained in you. A belief that anything is possible, and that science should serve society. Those ideas are what led me to study AI while I was at college at MIT. They led me to start my own company, Scale AI, and last year they led me to Meta, where I am now the Chief AI Officer. If you believe that anything is possible, Meta is one of the few companies with the resources, talent, and ambition to push the science of AI forward at scale. If you want to make technology that serves society, Meta has an incredible opportunity to get this technology into people's lives. 3.5 billion people use at least one of our apps every day. That blows my mind. It's more than 500 million people in India alone. People are already using our AI to do amazing things. Across India, creators use our AI to automatically translate reels into the language of the person watching. Small businesses talk to customers through WhatsApp business agents that they create in 10 minutes on their phones, and they use our Gen AI tools to create ads and reach customers way more efficiently than they ever could before. And India has world-class developers building genius things to solve societal challenges. For example, there are more than 20 million people with disabilities in India who are locked out of education, jobs, and digital services because the digital world wasn't designed for them. So iSTEM built voice-first, AI-powered infrastructure that helps people with disabilities to learn, discover careers, and complete digital tasks independently, like converting textbooks into usable formats or giving personalized career guidance that takes into account their disability. In healthcare, researchers at Ashoka University used our SAM3 model, which is trained on billions of natural images to speed up the identification and segmentation of cancer tumors and at-risk organs. Their model, OncoSeg, can help radiologists and radiology oncology teams do in seconds what it takes hours to do manually. The beauty of general purpose models is the same technology that can segment tumors in the brain can segment leaves to help farmers assess the health of their crops, as AgriPoint has done. We recently open sourced our omnilingual models, which recognize speech across more than 1,600 languages and can rapidly adapt to new languages with just a few audio samples. It's not a fantasy that in a few years we'll have real-time, voice-to-voice translation for every spoken language on Earth. Now build that into your glasses, real-time translation in any language just for you. That's transformative, perhaps most especially in countries like India, where so many languages are spoken. In fact, language is an area where we're collaborating with the Indian government through its AI Coach platform. We're providing datasets in 10 major Indian languages so people can build AI models that deeply understand Indian languages and contexts. I'm sure you're used to people from big tech world making lots of grand but vague assertions about what AI will be able to do. But we don't have to be vague. People use our AI right here, right now. They're getting value from it, and they're building amazing things with it. And that gives us confidence about what we're building towards. We're releasing new models this year, with the first coming in the next couple of months. These will be deeply integrated with our products in a way we're really excited about. We're optimistic about the trajectory we're on. The first models will be good, and as the year goes on, I think we're going to be pushing the frontier. Our vision is personal superintelligence. AI that knows you, your goals, your interests, and helps you with whatever you're focused on doing. It serves you, whoever you are, wherever you are. We all lead busy lives. I'm sure you'd want to do more if only you had the time and headspace. That's how I think about personal superintelligence. Say you want to be healthier. Your personal AI can help you see through a personal health plan covering diet, exercise, and sleep, and your daily routine. Or you have a project you'd like to get done, like putting on an event. It can track your progress, reach out to venues, arrange invites, remind you of things you haven't considered, and more. If you love to go fishing, or paint, or want to travel more, it can help free you up so you can do more of these things, and it can give you advice when you need it, or help you show up as a better friend or in your community. It won't just do your admin, it'll be an extension of you so you can be you more. I get that some people will worry what companies like Meta really want is to get you hooked and leave you passively staring at screens. But the whole point of personal superintelligence is the opposite. It's about helping you be more active in your life, in pursuing your goals, and deepening your relationships. I know people are going to be skeptical when I say we're going to do this work responsibly. But you don't have to take us at our word, take us at our incentives. This is a
Now, we were just listening to Mr. Alexander Wong, the Meta AI chief, speaking at the AI event, sharing his insights on the future of artificial intelligence and its growing global impact. However, we'll continue to keep a close watch on this event. Now let's move to other news from across the world. Starting from South Korea, South Korean court has sentenced former President Yoon Suk-yeol to life in prison for leading an insurrection during his failed attempt to impose martial law in December of 2024. The 65-year-old had abruptly declared military rule in a televised address aiming to suppress opposition in the National Assembly. His order lasted just 6 hours but paralyzed the government and contributed to his party's defeat in the next election. Yoon was then impeached, arrested, and convicted on multiple charges, including obstruction of justice, and is already serving time for other convictions related to the martial law attempt. He still faces 2 additional trials over the same crisis. Supporters have gathered outside the Seoul courthouse to protest, promoting heightened police security to prevent the unrest. This verdict follows previous sentences for members of Yoon's cabinet. Former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo was handed 23 years in prison for abetting the insurrection, while former Interior Minister Lee Sang-min has received 7 years. Former Defense Minister Kim Yong-kyun was sentenced to 30 years for his role in this crisis. Prosecutors had earlier sought the death penalty for Yoon, but South Korea maintains an unofficial moratorium on capital punishment. Now for this, we welcome Dr. Sanjay Kumar. He's a journalist at the Korea Herald, joins us live from Seoul. Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar, for joining us on this important issue. Please tell us more on this.
Suma, the court's verdict is very clear. They have considered him guilty, found guilty, and the message is very clear that no sword or nobody, no person is above the law, and nobody would be tolerated if he or she is trying to disturb the order of the Constitution. So there are 3 aspects of this entire verdict. One is legal, and legally the foundation has been once again re-established. This is what the court has decided to do. Socially, it is sending a very clear message to the people in Korea that if the foundations of the democracy is strong enough, then no force can destroy the democratic aspirations of the people. So if the roots of tree is strong, the tree will not be carried away or will not fall. So this is a social aspect. And the political aspect is also there, that no matter how the society is polarized, power is like a sword. If it is used in a good way, I mean orderly, for the cause, for the right cause, it is going to serve the nation. But if it is misused, it may harm the nation also. But in that case, the political will of the people and the political parties, including the opposition and those who are even non-political, they are not going to tolerate. So again, democratic principles are also getting established in this social aspect. And the another one is the international media and the international civil society, including the Korean civil society. What they had been expecting was a treatment, I mean some sort of verdict which would send a very clear message to upcoming governments also in the future Korea, not to undermine the constitution, not to undermine the institutions, and send a very clear message that resurrection cannot be tolerated. So these are the messages which are getting circulated in among the Korean people, the civil society, NGOs, people in the political arena after the verdict.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar, for sharing that timely insight on this news. Thank you very much. Now we move on to our next news. We have a breaking news coming in from Russia. A Russian Tu-214PU Doomsday aircraft has landed in Tehran, marking a significant development in the Russia-Iran partnership. The aircraft, designed as a mobile command center, features encrypted communications and electromagnetic shielding, allowing it to function during crises, including nuclear scenarios. This signals deepening strategic ties between Moscow and Tehran, with discussions on military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and contingency planning likely underway. Now we have another breaking news coming in. The United States is carrying out its largest air buildup in the Middle East region since 2003, positioning for possible strikes on Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump has not made a final decision yet, but officials reportedly say that the deployment gives Washington the option of a weeks-long air campaign rather than a single strike. The U.S. air build-up includes F-35 and F-22 fighter jets, additional aircraft command planes, missile defenses, and 2 aircraft carriers. Options under consideration range from targeting Iran's nuclear and missile sites to potentially striking regime leadership. While Iranian officials hope ongoing negotiations will delay any military action, U.S. authorities fear that the president could lose patience if progress remains slow, raising tensions across the region. Now we move on to Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered the Home Front Command to prepare for a potential war with Iran, putting various rescue and security agencies on maximum alert. Israel's Security Cabinet meeting, originally scheduled for Thursday, has been postponed to Sunday, with officials citing the need to review developments in Iran. Security assessments in Israel reportedly suggest that Iran could launch retaliatory missiles even if the Israeli military does not directly take part in a U.S.-led operation. Moreover, former Israeli military officials have claimed that the time frame for potential conflict appears to be shortening, with some sources estimating action could occur within days. Now we welcome Ambassador Mahi Sachdev. He's a former High Commissioner to Nigeria, joined us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Ambassador Sachdev, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, as tensions escalate, how hopeful can we be for diplomacy, as Russia has moved there or helped with deploying some aircraft, doomsday aircraft to Iran, and now U.S. is also deploying more and more armada to the region?
I think it's a race between diplomacy and military action, and the options are narrowing down to the side of military action. We are back where we were in June last year, when similar stratagem took place. Talks were actually going on between Iran and United States, mediated by Oman, and the Israelis decided to strike in June. And a 12-day war was later on joined by United States, which bombed 3 Iraqi nuclear installations with B-2 bombers. Now we are back to the same situation, and I think the history may repeat itself, but there are a less number of illusions because the belligerents have seen it all before, and this time United States government is talking in terms of regime change and a total military defeat. Now that is something that appears to be somewhat ambitious, thinking that Iran has its own retaliatory measures, which may include regional war and closing of Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb, where Houthis prevail. This may make any hostilities between Iran and United States and Israel to be a global affair, with oil prices, navigation through Gulf and Red Sea becoming mired in uncertainties. And therefore, one would like to presume that the belligerents would uh, think very hard and try and avoid this escalatory situation. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, we will be eyeing that. Thank you very much, Ambassador Sachdev, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you. Now, moving the focus on to Africa, the United Nations Independent Fact-Finding Mission on Sudan has concluded that the siege and capture of El Fasher by the Rapid Support Forces last October shows the hallmarks of genocide. The report describes 3 days of absolute horror, with crimes that were not random but part of a coordinated operation targeting non-Arab communities. RSF actions, including mass killings and violence, are set to meet the defining characteristics of genocide. The mission's chairman, Mohammed Shande Othman, has called for the perpetrators to be brought to justice. Now we welcome back former Ambassador Mahis Sachdev. Thank you very much, former Ambassador Mahis Sachdev, for joining us again and staying with us. Now, looking at Sudan and the UN's fact-finding mission that has concluded, what should happen now? Is there any way to bring these RSF forces to justice?
A good question, but a difficult one. Uh, the contextual details are somewhat vague, but one should add here that Al-Fasher's fall as the last bastion of Sudanese armed forces in Darfur region was preceded by 1 year of siege of that city, which served as the capital of North Darfur. It was a bitterly fought siege, and eventually, when RSF succeeded in overwhelming the defenders and SAF forces withdrew, there were reports that the massacres took place, and the details were sketchy, mainly dependent on refugees and few satellite observation, photographs and details. Now the United States investigative team has put some flesh on bones and has given some details, but names of the perpetrators, the units, etc. of RSF have not been named. RSF on its part has admitted to some excesses and has pretended to jail the leader of the concerned unit, one person, in jail for the time being at least, but nothing of sizable investigation and punishment has been carried out. Darfur has sizable community of non-Arab descent. These are black Africans who are not Muslims. And there have been 25-year-long battle by Khartoum against such separatist group or simple ethnic cleansing. This was earlier carried out by what was called Arab militia, named as Janjaweed. Later on, then President Bashir collectivized these Janjaweed militias into Rapid Support Force, which has become the current RSF. So RSF has some history dating back quarter of a century of these kind of excesses against Black Africans. Uh, the International Criminal Court has sentenced some former Janjaweed militiamen for crimes against humanity, and they are serving prison sentences. but at large, since the conflict began nearly 3 years ago, the
Ambassador,
the world situation has prevented better
yes,
accountability. The
yes.
UN report would perhaps pave the ground
Amb-
for ICC to initiate another
Ambassador,
judicial trial. Thank you.
yes. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for sharing that insight with us. Now, if we move the focus on to US, 8 backcountry skiers have been confirmed dead and a 9th is presumed dead after a massive avalanche hit their group in California's Sierra Nevada mountains on Tuesday. The group, returning from a 3-day excursion near Truckee, was overtaken by a football field-sized avalanche, despite warnings of high avalanche risk. 6 survivors were rescued using emergency beacons and seeking shelter in treacherous conditions, including heavy snow and gale force winds. This marks the deadliest U.S. avalanche in 45 years. Authorities had predicted the danger, with the Sierra Avalanche Center issuing warnings. However, the group proceeded with their trek. Meanwhile, the search operation continues and experts urge caution in avalanche-prone areas. The risk remains high, with more storms expected to exacerbate conditions. Let's listen in.
8 of the 9 additional skiers have been located deceased. We are still looking for one of the members at this time. Due to the ongoing challenges of the weather, the avalanche conditions, the effort remains ongoing, as well as our search for the remaining skier. But the weather is a factor. It's not a resource issue as we speak. It is a weather condition and safety condition for our response teams.
Now we move on to UK. Britain is taking a stronger stand against non-consensual intimate images online. Under new proposals, major tech platforms will have just 48 hours to remove such images once reported. Failure to comply could lead to fines of up to 10% of global revenue or even service blocks. The move aims to better protect women and girls, as private images can now be easily shared or AI-made explicit content can be created. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the online world is the front line in the fight against violence towards women and girls. Ministers are also exploring limits on social media access for under-16s, similar to Australia's ban. This change will amend existing laws, making it clear that platforms have a legal duty to act quickly. That's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.